Hello everyone, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Welcome to VBA Beyond Basics. In the last video, we talked about how to create a customized Excel function. Such a function is placed in a module and like unlike macros, it doesn't start with the word sub. It starts and ends with function and function. After the word function, we type function name, and within the round brackets we define the variables, and if there is an optional variable we write optional with that variable, and if we want to do some calculations it is required that we assign an initial value to such optional argument. In addition, always remember that function name has to come once on the left side of the is equal sign so that a value is assigned to it. Such a value will appear in the cell. So this was from the last video. Let's move to today's agenda. In the last video we created a custom function and we used that function into our Excel sheet. What about if we want to use an Excel function in VBA? So let's try it out. So here is my blank workbook. Insert a module. Let's start creating our macro and let's call it Excel function, and you recall that I put a V so that you can always recall that it's a variable, it's a name given by me. So let's use some Excel function and say range a1 dot value is equal to sum 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2 and enter. So here it is, a1 dot value is equal to sum plus 2 plus 2. So let me run with the F8 key, and here comes an error, compile error, sum or function not defined. So the sum function, which is an Excel function, is not being recognized by Microsoft Excel. So let's go to our buddy, our best buddy. And who is our best buddy? Our best buddy is Google, and type VBA Excel function. So the first one is actually, this is Microsoft.com. I always use Microsoft.com for the help. Maybe I'm customized to it. So here it is, using Excel worksheet in functions and blah 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 blah, and here it is, application.worksheet_function.min. So when we need to use a Excel function, it should be followed by before that function name we should write application.worksheet_function. So let's copy it, and here let's write worksheet function and let's put a dot. You see, as soon as I put a dot, which you cannot see, let me put this in the next line by putting a space and an underscore. You know, with space and underscore, this means that the the command line is continuing and Excel accept is as a single line command. So when I put a dot, all the Excel functions that you can use in VBA appears in this list. So from this list, let's try to use sum 2 plus 2, enter. So let's run it, F8, F8, F8 and F8. So this is the way how we use Excel function in VBA. Application.worksheet function dot, and I took you to Microsoft Docs, I took you to Microsoft Help so that you tend to understand that this is the way how to explore things. So this was about how to use Excel function in VBA. Let's go back to our agenda and let's see what is the next thing we need to learn. Okay, how to use VBA function within VBA. So this is interesting. Let's go back to where is my Excel? Here it is. And where is my VBA? Here it is. Okay. So first of all, to use a function in VBA, VBA means macro. How to use a customized function in my macro. Let's create a function, and the function is let's name it simple function. Let's say simple only, simple with just nothing, no variable, and say simple is equal to Microsoft Excel. That's it. So this function will always return Microsoft Excel whenever it is called. And here in our Excel function, let's change a1.value is equal to be simple. So now a1 is equal to the value of the function. Let's execute this. So whenever we call a function, the cursor jumps into that function, executes it and get back to. So now you can see that we have Microsoft Excel saved in cell A1. So this is how we call the function value in our macro. Let's make it a bit more practical. Let's say we add 10. We created it in the last time, and we add 10 is equal to whatever the base number is, just add 10 to it. So here it is, and we need to do what we need to do. We need to receive this number whenever this function is called. So how to receive? We have to define this variable within the round brackets. So from here, from vsimple, within our macro, whenever we need to call vsimple, we need to send some value. So let's say 75, and let's execute our macro now. Vsimple, why sum or function not defined? Oh yes, it should be at 10 now. Control C and Control V. So let's run it now. 75 goes here, here, and we have 85. So let's make another change. Let's get our output in A2, but instead of 75, let's pick the value from A1. Range A1 dot value. So what is going to happen now is that the this macro Excel function will pick value from A1 and send it to the function add 10, and add 10 function will add 10 to such value, and then when we go back to our macro, that new value will be saved in A2. So let's run this. Range A2.value is equal to add 10 to range A1 value. So let's see what is stored in A1. So you can see right now base number is 85, right? What was in A1 cell. Let's execute this and we should have 95, and boom, here it goes. So this was how to use any function in VBA, and we have used our customize function in VBA, and we have sent value to the function. The function has calculated and given us back a new value, and we have stored that value in our worksheet. So we picked value from the worksheet, send it to our function, got new value, and we wrote that value in our cell. So this is how we exchange values with our functions. So in this quick video, I shared with you how to use Excel function in VBA, and how to use in VBA or our macro, and how to use a customized function which we have created into our macro and exchange value between them. So if you like the video, if you learned anything new, give us a thumbs up, and if you have any question, leave it in the comment. And most important thing is, think about it, how you, and where you can use these new learnings. Thank you. Till next video.